So if you were to ask me, what's the one word that matters most today for sales and marketing success? And there's so many, right? Diversity is a hugely important one, for example. And we can never overlook the importance of that. I think that's hugely important. Another one that's really top of mind for me, and something that we see just coming out in all of our research at CB over and over again, is the word empathy. And what's so interesting about the word empathy, I think from a traditional sales perspective, it's something we tend to steer away from. It's empathy, that's soft, that's that HR stuff. I'm here to sell, I'm gonna bring in the number, come on, man. But empathy, we don't need to be empathetic, come on. But what we're finding from a sales and marketing perspective is if we can't truly put ourselves into our customer's shoes and ask, what does it feel like to buy? Not just to buy from us, but to buy. And if we can't ask, what do they know? What do they not know? What should they know? What are they likely not to know? What are they likely to ask? These are all questions that we have to understand, and we can only truly understand the answers to those questions if we're able to put ourselves or project ourselves into that customer perspective. And what's interesting, if you were to talk to a chief marketing officer, they would emphatically agree with that point. They'd say, we know, we totally agree, and that's why we're so dead set on building a customer understanding capability, which makes a ton of sense, right? So you talk to CMOs and say, we're really focused on customer understanding, and you say, well, what are you doing for customer understanding? And say, we've rolled out Net Promoter Score, or voice of the customer, or satisfaction, or loyalty scores. And all of those things are incredibly powerful tools, but none of them are gonna get you the kind of look inside the customer mindset that you need to solve for the customer buying problems that we're talking about today. Because if you ask yourself, here's an interesting thing to think about. If you think about sort of, whether it's Net Promoter Score, or loyalty score, satisfaction score, any of it, you ask yourself, what are they really focused on figuring out? It's like, well, Net Promoter Score, how likely are you to recommend? Well, recommend whom? Well, recommend us. How loyal are you? Well, loyal to whom? Loyal to us. How satisfied are you? Satisfied with whom? Satisfied with us. All of those perspectives, while incredibly valuable, are all about customers' understanding of us as opposed to customers' understanding of themselves. And if you want to get into this world of, for example, challenging customers' thinking, if you want to look the customer in the eye and teach them something new, not about our business, but about their business, then what do you have to know? In order to challenge a customer's view of their business, what do you first have to understand? You first have to understand their view of their business. Otherwise, there's nothing to challenge. But you'll never get a true understanding of their view of their business by asking them if they're loyal to you. It's a total non sequitur. The same sort of thing when we think about building consensus across all of those diverse customer stakeholders. What we found in our research is that if you do a better job of connecting each one of those individual stakeholders to you, you actually wind up doing you're less likely of winning a high quality sale. You've got to do a better job of connecting those individual stakeholders to each other, because there's those disconnects among those stakeholders that prevent you from closing that deal. But the only way to solve for that problem is to understand what are those disconnects among those stakeholders. Where are they less likely to agree? Where are their priorities likely to conflict? That has nothing to do with you at all. That has nothing to do with whether or not they'll recommend you or they're loyal to you. That's getting in the customer perspective and understanding how they see their world from their perspective. And this is what empathy is all about. Being able to project yourself into that customer world, see the world from their eyes, and ask yourself not just, how can I align to it, but what did they miss? What should they know? What have they failed to see? And you can only ask yourself those high-quality questions if you're in that perspective to begin with. And that's really what matters. And that's why we think empathy is absolutely crucial.